Okay, friends, we are back with part 2 of our chat with Nick Viall and Natalie Joy, and this one is a must listen. We get into mommy shaming, some of the worst comments they've received on social media, plus how we are all navigating the crazy online world we are living in. Nick invites me to be a part of Special Forces. Will I join? Did you guys see that show? It's intense. All right, stick around.
Like, you go on reality TV, especially reality TV competition love shows, for the experience, right? It is a crazy experience, and we have to acknowledge that. You don't go there for love. You go there maybe open to love. You know, you're kind of insane if you're like, you know what, I haven't been able to find someone in the real world. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go on The Bachelor.
Yeah, I'm going to compete for one girl. I'm going to have 50 guys making out with her, but I'm going to get her.
But the truth is, you know, people have found love on The Bachelor. Babies have been born. People have found love on Love Island. Babies have been born. There's a million ways to meet people. There's a lot of, you know, weird ways to meet people, and going on reality TV is one of them. So, like, criticizing people who go on, obviously we know there's an opportunity there with social media, and I think that's when, you know, people get into trouble, because I think you can both go on for the experience as a, you know, someone who has the opportunity to go on reality TV, and once you get there, you can still be your honest, most authentic and genuine self. But for a lot of us, again, I've always been very open on my show. Like, honestly, like, I look back and I don't think I was 28, 29 until I really, like, felt comfortable with who I was. You know, when I met
were you on the show? How old were you?
33.
Okay.
When I met Natalie, you know, I kind of joked with her. I've always been someone who really tries to work on myself, self-improvement, yada, yada, yada. I also think the benefit of getting older and being comfortable with who you are as a person is to just say, and I said this to Natalie early on, and it's like she was giving me shit for, like, not closing cupboards or leaving shit out or being messy, and I was like, listen.
Wet, like getting out of the shower and dripping on the floor.
Yeah, all the things.
Why do you guys do that?
Shoes on bathroom mats where you get out with your clean feet.
No. Kevin takes his shoes and puts them on the island in the closet.
Oh, yeah, that's giving
on the bed.
Sure.
Then he'll take his suitcase and put it on the bed.
I can't with the suitcase.
Why?
Not with the
you guys have no sanitation.
I don't know. But I said to Natalie, I remember I was in her kitchen. I was like, listen, I will always try to do better. I always want to work on myself, and I was being sincere. But there's also, like, there are just certain things I've accepted that I'm not good at, you know, and I can work on them.
And what are those?
A million
Closing
things,
cabinets.
you know. But I can be a little aloof at times. I can be in my head. But, like, you know, minus the closing cabinets, all serious. Just I have bad habits. We all do, and I think part of getting older is this kind of accepting some of our flaws, you know, and just being okay to just say to people you want to accept you is like, this is who I am. And I can try to work on this and work on that, but just to be fully transparent, like, it's probably not going to get much better than it is today, because I've been trying
a long time.
And like, this is how my brain works. This is who I am. It's my personality. And again, that's not an excuse to be an asshole. It's not an excuse to tell your partner you have to accept certain things, but I do think there is a part of growing up and being comfortable with who you are and knowing that you're just not going to be good at everything.
Yeah.
You're going to have bad habits. You know, the things that your friends teased you about in high school are sometimes the same things that people tease you about or give you a hard time 15, 20 years later. And when you get in, and when you're younger, you try to hide those things. You try to pretend. You go on dates and you're just like, oh, no, I'm super,
perfect.
you know, every interview you go on, it's just like, I'm super organized. And now I'm just like, honestly, guys, if you can find someone to organize shit for me, that'd be great, because I'm so good at this, but I can't do that.
I told you right in the beginning, I don't do instructions.
Exactly.
I just
right?
don't.
And
no,
so
you're right.
I think part of getting older is accepting who you are. And again, there's a million reasons why people are uncomfortable with who they are and have to find themselves, and are a million reasons why people are afraid they won't be accepted. You know, maybe, you know, like, you know, trauma can come from all sorts of things. You know, you can get picked on in high school for a certain thing and be ashamed of it and not want to get picked on because, you know, I've always been a forgetful person. I've always been absent-minded. It's been something I've been self-conscious about. And then I get older, and now I have no problem just being like, yeah, I am, you know. But when you're younger, you try to pretend that you're not, you know, and so.
So true. I was at dinner last night, and my friend who was hosting it was like, oh yeah, you know, someone said, oh, how did you guys meet? And he's like, yeah, Maria, tell them the story. You always love telling them the story. I didn't even remember the story. And I couldn't remember. And there was just like a total blank. And he looked at me. I'm like, I have a brain tumor. And they all start looking at me. And I go, it's a great moment to throw that card down because I just don't remember. I'm tired. I got off a plane. And I want you to feel bad for me right now so that I don't have to try to figure it out.
They're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. Okay, it's fine.
Yeah.
Listen, you
but I'm like, I don't remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember. And I can only hold so much in my head. I really have to just focus on making sure my baby's fed and changed, whatever right now. And they were laughing. But I think that is a really good point and something I've been watching myself do more and more where I'm like, yeah, no, just not good at that. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
But that takes time, and it does take a lot of like work on yourself to get there.
Yeah. So other than that, I mean, you're not the first person who will say like, oh, you don't shy away from controversy. I guess I like to.
I think it's a good thing because like you're not afraid to talk about it. I'm not afraid to talk about stuff too because I know how to handle myself.
Well, that's the thing. I just, it can be scary to talk about things in a podcast in a long form because you know that, we now live in a time where people can cut up what you say and misrepresent you and also just like people online, you can't fight with the internet. You can't reason with the internet.
Well, and also really the internet is just a lot of bots.
Well, that's the thing too. Like, I actually recently have had this kind of, as like in my dad theory or whatever. But like, like people always ask like, are we living in a matrix or shit like that? Or like AI and virtual reality. And there's been some pretty crazy world events that's gone on, in the past few months or just in the past year. And what I have noticed is that there are a couple, world events that happened, and I was just kind of like, oh my God, this is crazy, whatever. And I was shocked by how, like, I anticipated like stepping outside and everyone wanting to talk about it. Can you believe this? Can you believe that? But I was shocked by how many times I had to bring it up to people. And it's just, I just kind of realized that when it comes to, we're, as a society, we're so buried in our phones. And I'm as guilty as anyone. My whole business is online. But like, whether it's you're watching TV, which barely people do, or you're on your phone, whatever it is, that's the matrix. We're all like, all the shit that happens online, like when you put your phone down, people who are out living their lives are so disconnected. And
nobody has time. Nobody cares.
Even if they know what's happening, it's online. They don't even, but now that they finally put their phone down. So it's just like our online personas, what we think online, how we identify politically or however, it's like, it's a whole different universe online versus the real world, And so I've just kind of taught myself, and we challenge each other to just acknowledge that and realize that, and I'm grateful that we have the presence we have online, but it's not real, It's not, people will say whatever, I learned this very quickly from going on reality TV, but as someone who was vilified and people had very strong opinions, negative opinions of me very early on, and if I would go online, it would be very difficult to read some of the commentary about me. Simultaneously, while I was living in New York, I could walk into a bar in Chicago and be treated like a literal rock star, So it's like, there's a disconnect between reality and what's online, I go into a bar and people are treating me like a god, and that was weird and scary, but like, certainly I didn't get any criticism, didn't get any hate, got a lot of attention, a lot of praise, a lot of excitement. Go online and you read like you're the worst person in the fucking world, And so you just have to be real. You have to realize if you're gonna be online, whether you are in the public eye, or honestly, if you're just a soccer mom or whatever, does it really matter from your POV if you have 250 followers or 250,000 or 250 million? to that person reading the comments, it's just as intense. It's just as personal, and you have to work just as hard as disconnecting, because again, people don't treat you the same online as they treat you in person, and how people treat you and interact with you in person is all that really matters. And you just have to realize that you're tapped into the matrix when you're scrolling online, whether it's X or Facebook or Instagram or Twitter. It doesn't really matter. It's all just this alternate universe.
Well, perhaps we are really finally connecting to the fact that we are so minuscule.
Yeah.
Because if you think about it, nothing really matters. Nothing phases us anymore. We're so numb, and everything's moving so fast. Like, I had Deepak Chopra on once, and he really connected with me because he was like, the Milky Way is massive. But in the grand scheme of the galaxy,
It's nothing.
it is not even a speck of sand. So think of what we are. If in the Milky Way that's so massive, we're just a speck. Like, we are nothing. So maybe we're just connecting to all of that finally. I don't know. Or maybe just social media has disconnected us so much in general. But I started realizing that everything that's negative online is generally paid bots. And I didn't realize it because I had like a wicked witch that was after me, and they hired digital street teams to attack me online so that it looked like everybody hated me to try to sink my ship before I soared. I shut off all likes like over a year ago, and then I slowly started watching everyone around me shutting them off too.
Yeah.
Like, none of this friggin' matters anymore. Like, it's all bots. And I was talking to a company that was built to actually put like positivity and like help people kind of in a more positive way with bots or something. And I was like, wait, people do this in the opposite way? I didn't even know. I didn't know any of that existed.
It should all be. I mean, I wish.
I know I probably sound like I lived under a rock, but I didn't understand it. My husband was the one who told me that I was attacked that way, but I still didn't kind of understand it.
I don't know why every social media platform doesn't. Before it was like, you were a celebrity, you got a blue check mark, and that was like a cool thing, right? Now they're charging people for blue check marks. I think if you want to be online, you should verify who you are.
Yeah.
And you should be accountable for what you say.
Yeah.
And you put your, and it doesn't matter if you're a public figure or not, but like all the people behind anonymity or bots or whatever who can say whatever they want, or, or just people being fake online, like clearly is resulting a lot of bullying and things like that. We may say things online that people disagree with, but we put our name on it.
Yeah.
We don't say welcome their criticism, but we
you're not
accept
afraid of it.
We just listen.
Or you are afraid. Everyone's afraid.
I don't like
it's just
it,
you just
but
deal with it.
Well, it's occupational hazard. We just had a 30-minute conversation about our privileged, lucky lives where we can, where do we want to live when, our kids going to school? There's a lot of benefits from what we do. We're very lucky to have the lives that we have. But like everything else, there's the ugly side of a job, or the negative side of a job. And part of what, we choose to put our, opinions out there for people to agree or disagree with. And quite honestly, as I always remind Natalie, and more specifically my team, we're not here to be the most popular people, and we're not here to have everyone agree with us. We're here to say things that people care about and want to engage in a conversation with. And now that doesn't mean we say things just to say it. We take great pride in not saying things that we don't believe.
Yeah.
But sometimes the things that we do believe, people disagree with, and we welcome that. But sometimes it can be a little harsh. But whether it's bots or I always kind of tell this story to remind myself to my audience, but it was a few years ago. I got a message on Twitter, now X, and it was like, hey Nick, can you unfollow me on Instagram? I'm sorry for calling you an ugly, wicked troll, or I don't know what they called me or something like that. But they said, but in my defense, I was 12 years old then. And it was 5 or 6 years later, so this person seems to be maybe 18, 19 years old, had gone back and looked at some of their message, realized that, maybe they listened to a podcast and realized, oh, Nick has me blocked from years ago. And it was just kind of a fun, and I did a poll, and I think I unblocked this person. It was kind of funny, but it was really honestly a great moment or a lesson just to remind myself of like who, maybe it's bots, but it also just might be, nowadays, I don't know when you and Kevin have talked about giving your daughter a phone, but like to me, I think it should, like, phones are weapons. They are. If you give your kid a phone, you're giving the world access to your kid, and you have no idea where it's coming from. And they are, if we're not giving kids guns, why are we giving them phones? Why are we giving anyone access? There's a really great book out there right now called The Anxious Generation. Jonathan Hoyt, I'm mispronouncing his name. He's an NYC professor. And he talks about how, like, as parents, like, we're all like, back in the day when I was a kid, I would like ride my bike 5 or 6 miles to go play with my friends, play outside. And I think we were maybe a little bit naive to the dangerous people that were out there, especially like in the 50s and 60s and 70s. I think we were just too much of a trusting society. Now we see, there's stories of abuse and tragedy, and that's terrible. Now we have a society of parents that like don't give their kids any independence, can't go anywhere, let their kid ride their bike 2 miles to their friend's house. Absolutely not. No, we'll take you. Let your kid go into a store by themselves and buy something at 12 years old. Absolutely not. We don't know who's out there. But the real reality is these predators, these dangerous people, they're not in the mall or outside waiting for their kids. They're online. Yeah. They're online on
Although
Snapchat.
they are. I'll tell you about that later.
Well, they're everywhere. But I'm just saying.
They're in the aisles of Target ready to like grab your children. What?
Yeah.
I keep seeing all these videos. The trafficking thing freaks me out.
No, it's a real thing. But again, to that point.
But the online thing is
it's online.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Horrible. No, Athena's never having a phone. I'm like, no sugar, no TV, no phones. My daughter's going to love me.
Yeah. I mean, and so it's just, I forgot my point of bringing it up in the first place, but.
You were talking about the phones being weapons, and that NYC professor that was talking about it, like.
Oh yeah, I mean, he was just saying how like the dangerous people are online. We need to give our kids independence and things like that, but it needs to be independence in the real world, not independence with phones. Like that's the worst thing we can be doing. Yeah. You give your kid a phone, to shut him up, and you have no idea who's raising your kid. You have no idea who has access to your kid. Why are 10-year-olds buying Sephora makeup? That's what it was my point. It's just like you have all these kids watching all these TV shows, and they have 12 and 13-year-olds with phones and social media accounts, and they all and so, you have so many people like you go on these shows reading these comments, and if they knew it was a bunch of 13-year-old girls and guys, they probably would care a little bit less, but they might not, know. And so maybe they just have like, and it's a crazy world. Yeah. So this is
Are
all
you
to
guys
say,
sharing her on social?
Yes, and it's something we talk about. It's like, we do. We try to, like, I don't know. We don't have the right answers. Part of us is like, maybe we shouldn't, but then it's just like, how do we, I don't know. But right now we are. As she grows, it becomes more of an adult. We might pull back a little bit, but we talk about that. We don't have a clear answer of what's the right way or not right way.
Yeah.
But we try to have some restrictions and boundaries, but it's fluid.
Got it. Yeah. All right, friends, let's take a moment to acknowledge our amazing supporters. Macy's, of course, being the biggest because they've been on this ride with us for so long, helping us to be able to create this content for you guys. I don't know about you, but I'm very excited for fall fashion. I almost wore my boots the other day just because I really wanted to. And I'm like, wait, it's still August and 100 degrees here in LA, so maybe I should take a chill pill. But for you guys, I know it's getting a little colder wherever you are, and my favorite fall fashion needs, I have some of them up on my Macy's wish list for you already. Some cute jeans or a cute jean jacket, some white sneakers that I know will go with everything this fall for you, that are comfy for all your everyday activities, whether you're going to the grocery store or you're going shopping or whatever it is you're doing. Maybe you're even just walking around Macy's. All of those things are there. Plus, with these amazing deals on all of these brands, Macy's has finding those amazing fall fashion pieces to transition from summer super easy. So if you guys want to elevate your style for the fall, if you've got a new job you want to look great for, or whatever it is, you just want something new and inspiring for the fall, go to my Macy's wish list using the link inside the podcast description and let me know what you end up with. You also know that Ouai is some of my favorite hair products. I love their leave-in conditioner and their hair oil. I have used it today, although I didn't do a great job on my hair. Today. It's a little bit much. I probably should have used the anti-frizz cream, but I didn't have time to deal with that and just kind of ran out because Athena was keeping me behind schedule today. Didn't want to keep the Vials waiting. So I did use my hair conditioner and my hair oil. One of my favorite hacks is using it on wet hair, of course, on my ends. So friends, if you're eager to elevate your hair care routine, check out Ouai products. Go to theouai.com, TheOuai.com. If you use the promo code HEALSQUAD, you will get 15% off. And if you're not sure what products work for your hair, just take the hair quiz on their website and they'll match product to your hair issues or hair type. Check it out. Guys, we have covered a lot. But I really am, I think my favorite part of this is, aside from like the parent stuff, because we're so connecting on that and I love talking about all of that, is kind of like where we are in this world and how we start to navigate it in a better way. Because when you start to understand what is, and I think kind of what we were talking about with like what is in the online world, you realize that most of it isn't real. Most of it is actually manufactured. But also kind of like what's going on out in the world is controlled by a small group of people too.
Yeah. Or even whether it's manufactured or not, or just misguided, or just, it's just
or someone's just
a venting vehicle
on a level of consciousness where they can communicate in the best way, whatever it is. Like, I think we have to kind of start just navigating, knowing that, and you can navigate and live a much better existence when that is understood.
Yeah, no, you really can. And it's just, like I said before, like I'm big on personal accountability, and it's just like, I think our society has become, I think it's, it's really one of those, it's weird because like, it wasn't until I was, I think in my late 30s that I even realized I was dyslexic, or realized, after talking to my doctor that I had some ADD or ADHD, or, I suffered from anxiety, before, when I was younger, 20 years ago. I was like, Nick, why are you being weird? So it's been really nice to be able to understand myself better.
How did you do that?
What do you mean? Just to name it, to just know, like, oh, well, the reason I can't read a fucking teleprompter, or I'm such a slow reader, I'm dyslexic. Oh, great. Now sometimes it's just nice to know, right? Yeah. And that way you stop wondering what's wrong with me.
Yes.
It's like, oh, I'm dyslexic, whatever. Like, then you read a book about all the geniuses who are dyslexic or whatever. Or just, okay, you have, and then if knowing you have ADHD, sure, there's options, whatever, if you want to do something about it. But I think sometimes my point is, it's just nice to know sometimes. On the flip side, I think we've become a society of just kind of finger pointing, where we've gone a bridge too far, where instead of just at least now knowing and being able to name some of the things that you struggle with, so now you can just know, rather than like wonder what's wrong with me. It's become the thing as an excuse to not hold ourselves accountable or to not improve ourselves. It's just like, oh, well, I'm dyslexic, so there's nothing I can do about it, or something, or whatever it is. Or I'm or I have this, or I suffer from anxiety. So like, it's always, our society seems to have armed us with a million reasons why our shortcomings, our failures, our misfortunes, why things don't go away, why it's someone else's fault or something else's fault, right? And that's just not how I operate. It's just like, for me, it's just like, yeah, it might be someone else's fault and I might be a victim of this circumstance, but I probably still can learn something or do something about it, right? And to me, I just find that to be a lot more empowering. It's allowed me to be more emotionally resilient, and things like that. And so those are the things I definitely just try to focus on. I forgot my point of why I brought this up in the first place, but yeah, it's just, I think right now it's just like, online, I think right now, is whether it's like manufactured or people just like wanting to be heard and wanting to just like, instead of holding themselves accountable. I think that's what it was. I think my point was, it's like we choose to be online. We choose to be in the public eye.
So you have to deal with what
we
comes.
choose to like take all the benefits that come with it, and so we also have to accept the consequences and the negative side of it. It doesn't mean we have to deal with online bullying or things like that, but it is our responsibility, me and Natalie, and for the sake of our daughter, to like disconnect, to not sit there and fight with the internet because we feel right. I always say, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? Well, I learned that and I pass that along to my audience. But, it's just like, sure, being right doesn't often mean you're going to be very happy.
Thanks for that reminder, because I like being right.
I love being right.
But I really want to be happy.
You're right. Your ego's like, you need to fucking tell everyone, and you need to, but like, nothing will humble you more than knowing you're right and then trying to argue with the internet, because they don't, we live in a time where we don't agree with people who are right. We agree with people we like.
Yeah.
And so, if
not
you,
easy to win that.
If you don't like me, and you're not going to give me the benefit of the doubt, when we sit there and debate, like the whole Blake and Justin or whatever, like if you are people aren't looking to see who they actually agree with or what actually happened. Is it right or wrong? It's just more like, she reminds me of the girl that wouldn't be friends with me in high school, and he is saying all the right things.
Yeah.
I'm Team Justin, but you can say all the right things all the time and not do all the right things ever,
Totally.
Like basically every politician we have is that, so like.
But also those things are so hard to navigate, and I always tell people, like, we don't know anything.
Yeah.
We don't know what went on, and everybody's perspective on things is so different. Like, we can, all three of us right now, see a crime, and we're going to see it 3 different ways, and the person's pants are going to be a different color to all of us. You've seen those tests happen a million times. It's really, really hard. So, like, even when it's, family problems, divorce, or whatever, we have no idea what went on in that house. Like, the person with the dimples that was like the sweet, great one might be the little secret devil.
Yeah.
I've had a few devils with dimples. But anyway, but yeah, you don't know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I'm always like, I have no idea.
You just worry about your daughter or
But,
your husband.
I mean,
That's all that
honestly,
really matters, right?
I've just kind of went whoop, because it really is all that matters, and I don't have a lot of time and space for stuff that doesn't matter. And
It's just crazy how like toxic it all can be. I mean, I got off TikTok for a while, and I was like, because it's addictive.
was TikTok toxic?
Oh, it's just like.
I mean, I don't do any of it really. I just kind of.
It is. I mean, it is.
It is. I feel like it used to be what
I thought it was the most
COVID,
pure of them all.
No.
You thought in COVID, I feel like it was, everyone's doing dances, and it had just come out, and it was, I think, but now it has become a place that is just people spewing their opinions, and it.
Or having online fights. You know how back in the day Twitter used to be a place where people would have like these Twitter battles, and we would like all like have a front row seat? That's what TikTok has become.
No way.
Yeah.
But it's just.
And then just the
I haven't been
algorithm.
on it.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was on it for a second in COVID. I mean, we post there, we do things as a team, but I don't want to be a part of it all.
I have
It's
other
all
people
just,
post all the
to me,
time.
it's all nonsense. Like, it's.
Sometimes I will go on just to see how like things that we're putting on are performing, and then I'm like, oh God, you just gotta jump off. Like I don't.
Yeah, no. It's good to kind of just, you can't, as Tony says, you can't manage what you don't measure. So like I'll look and be like, okay, that got traction, that got some comments. Okay, interesting, good to know. But in terms of engaging in any of it now, I'm so over all of it.
Yeah.
I
really am.
Yeah.
I want to be in nature. I want to be outside.
That is me.
Yeah, when I'm
That's
paddleboarding on the lake, watching the sunset, I don't really care what they're saying online.
Yeah. I mean, we really have to like reclaim our lives because it's really taken so much of it. Are you guys watching any TV right now? Is there anything you're obsessed with?
So much of our job is TV. We just obviously
Watch every
finished Love
reality.
Island USA.
Well, because you have to interview
I'll
all these
tell you
people.
what-
That's
I'll tell
right.
you
You
what.
have to.
The Lacey Scott Peterson documentaries. There's like 2 out now. There's one on
way, I'm
Netflix
obsessed
and
with
there's one
them.
on Peacock. We watched the Netflix one first.
Okay.
Spoiler alert. it's very, you probably won't have your opinion, you know, the Peacock one opens up the possibility of
Lacey.
His innocence.
Of his innocence.
Yeah.
And it's unclear, but they at least point holes, at least flaws in the case.
See, this is the thing that's so hard. I'm going back to this. This has been my thing since COVID started. I had this thing, like, it just kept hitting me, and I got really depressed. I'm like, there's no more truth. There's no truth anymore, anywhere. Because when you're watching these things, everyone's skewing it their way. Whatever they want is being skewed, whether it's the government, politicians, documentaries, like, and then we watch this and we take it as truth. We have no clue.
No.
None.
So we're watching that.
But as long as you're looking at it through entertainment, right? Like even Baby Reindeer, when you hear the woman's perspective, her perspective was like, wait, what? This was, you know, not the case, but such a good piece.
Yeah. That was a tough watch. I mean, we didn't finish that.
That was rough.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know if I like him.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, so Lacey and Scott, I will try to watch that.
Watch the Peacock one for sure. The Netflix one is good too, but the Peacock introduces more information that, you know, is interesting.
Yeah, there's a couple of like those cases in our time, like the John Benet Ramseys, the all of these, the Menendezes, and all these people where you're like, wait.
Yeah, there's a FX.
Is that a new one?
Well, it's not out yet, but they're
working on it. Yeah,
they're working on it.
Okay, what else?
We finished Presumed Innocent. Oh, I mean, we like blasted through that. The new Jake Gyllenhaal, Apple TV, like the lawyer. That one was.
Love Is Blind UK.
I loved you on Special Forces, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
Did you enjoy doing that?
So good.
I did. Yes, it was. Well,
I can't believe what you guys did. I watched and I was like,
doing
what?
it literal torture.
I'm
they
sure.
literally tortured you, like not a metaphor for.
I was shocked.
Difficult time.
Because I could tell it was like real.
But it was.
Those guys took it seriously. They had no mercy.
We're not.
One of the most rewarding experiences for sure. Yeah, I'd do it again.
Do you feel like people had any expectations, high or low, of you in that?
I imagine, but I don't read them.
Yeah, because you were really like very just cool, like just cool as a cucumber, just kind of doing your thing, level-headed.
I definitely am sure my critics didn't think I would do well.
And I was obsessed with JoJo.
JoJo was great.
She was so, I mean, what a powerhouse. Like, I just watched her and I was like, I couldn't do this stuff. I couldn't do it. And I think I'm tough and I know I'm ballsy, but like that stuff, no.
I mean,
You should do the show.
She's a bit
Hell no.
You would be so good.
I would die. I was with Derek yesterday, Derek Huff, and we were looking at all of his crazy adventures on the plane that he was, diving off, boats and swimming down to the anchor and sharks. I'm like, you're insane. You're like,
That is crazy.
You're insane. But I mean, I know I have a little insane in me, but now I think I've gotten less courageous.
Well, doing Special Forces taught me the difference. Well, reminded me, I suppose. There's, and I was actually honestly thinking about this today, driving here, about like things I want to teach River. Literally, I was thinking about it. But like, there's a difference between fear and danger. And it's also really important to know the difference. Just because you're afraid of something doesn't mean you're in danger. But there are dangerous situations, and knowing the difference will give you the opportunity to face your fears a little easier. And so like on Special Forces, it was very scary situations, facing heights and things like that, or just, but I always felt safe and taken care of. But it was just a matter of my emotional willingness and resilience to get through. I mean, really, honestly, the challenges were the easy part. I mean, yeah, it was scary, but like you knew you were fine.
But
it was
underwater shit, I was like,
It was just like being hypothermic for 3 days, being malnutritious, being just not getting enough food.
Yeah.
Being uncomfortable, like just sleeping on a cot. They stripped down every comfort that you ever had, and then pushed and pushed and pushed, and like it's just all about finding your breaking point. And I think those experiences, I felt very fortunate to do that. Again, I've got a very charmed, privileged, lazy life, but I do think like it doesn't matter how privileged you are, adversity finds everybody. You know, you have a very great life. I don't know you that well, but from afar, it seems like you have a really great life. But I'm also aware of a lot of tragedy you've had to deal with, right? And a lot of pain and suffering you have had to overcome. It finds us all.
Yep.
And so, you know, yeah, doing Special Forces was just a great opportunity to like check myself and to really test myself, to get, you know, to feel like you can't go on, but find a little bit more grit and just break through, you know, and get through to the other side. And I think it was a great metaphor for in terms of what life brings you. And I feel fortunate to have done it.
Yeah. Those are the things that just show you what you're made of.
Yeah.
And they show you that you're stronger than you are. And that's why I love all the things that have happened in my life. And I see them as gifts because I'm like, oh, I really know that I can get through stuff. I know how to get through stuff. I know how to roll. I know how to, I just know that it's part of life. So I'm not surprised. I mean, you're going to get surprised, but I'm not like, oh my God, can you believe? It's like, yeah, this is just kind of what's going on.
Yeah, you just got to deal, you know?
just got to deal with it.
Life's a lot harder when you think that that nothing will happen to you, you know? But it happens to us all. It's just a matter of when.
And different things are going to come to different people. Yeah. It might be health, it might be career, it might be love, like all the different categories. You don't know which one you're going to get. And you might get all of them.
Seems to fall at once sometimes, or, you know, it's like life's peaks and valleys, and you just have to find a way through.
Yeah. Do you keep in touch with everybody from that show? Because when you are in those kind of settings, there is such a bond that takes place.
JoJo and Tyler, you know, we've really stayed close, the three of us. I think we all keep in touch, some more than others to various degrees, but it was definitely a bonding experience.
Oh my God, wait, poor Tara Reid, that was rough.
Yeah.
That was rough to watch.
She's a sweetheart.
I know she tried so hard.
She really did.
Have you kept in touch with her?
Yeah, I haven't talked to her in a few months, but we got to see each other several times after the show, and
they have a group chat. They're really good about if
we watched all the episodes
people
together.
Come to LA.
Did everyone come on your show? You should have like a reunion with everybody on the show.
Of them, yeah. I was gonna have Tara, but didn't.
Why?
It just didn't work out. Okay. Yeah. And so I want to get her back, but I was gonna have her on, then she wasn't available, and.
Yeah, scheduling. I mean, even scheduling us was so hard.
Yeah,
it's hard. We're all so busy. No, don't worry. It all happens in the way it's supposed to. I just wish Kevin was here because it was going to be like the four of us. But yeah, I think that was a really cool show. I really, really enjoyed it.
You should do it.
It's really cool.
Never.
You can always leave.
Never. I don't quit. No quitting. Oh, I won't quit.
You would crush then.
You would be really proud of yourself.
I think I've had enough shit in life that I know I can, like, I don't need that to know that I can do it.
There you
go. So that's why I feel like, I mean, I've wrestled at WrestleMania. I've done like crazy kind of stuff. And I know what I'm made of. So I feel like I'm good. But
that makes sense.
I do love challenges. I just feel like now it's like, I can't risk any more stress on my body and my mind because I already am dealing with so many autoimmune things and so many illnesses that I'm like, I got to make sure I'm like in just good space.
Yeah.
It's valid.
But if I wasn't in that, heck yeah. I would do all the crazy stuff, but I have to protect for Athena. My literal goal every day, like Priscilla, who's in studio, asked me, we're having a glass of wine and watching the sunset in Florida 2 days ago. And she's like, what do you want? And I'm like, what's your like next dream? I'm like, I just want to be healthy for her. That's all I care about. I just want to be here healthy for her.
Yeah.
So with that, I don't want to keep crying. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you for having us.
And I always love our conversations, and now of course having you on too. It's
we
been
need to get the girls together.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
Should do it.
I think she's awake too, so you guys will get to meet her. And I have a little shirt for River that says she's the CEO of her health.
Absolutely.
So we'll have to make sure that she sports her shirt. But thank you guys so much. And we've got potential music classes ahead. We've got potential homeschooling. We're all going to figure out where we're moving to from this crazy place.
You're not getting rid of us.
Thank you guys so much for listening and for being a part of the Heal Squad. We love you guys. We hope you enjoyed this two-parter with Nick and Natalie. And in the meantime, be nice people, make good choices, and be present.
This podcast and all related content published or distributed by or on behalf of Maria Menounos or mariamenounos.com is for informational purposes only and may include information that is general in nature and that is not specific to you. Any information or opinions expressed or contained herein are not intended to serve as or replace medical advice, nor to diagnose, prescribe, or treat any disease, condition, illness, or injury, and you should consult the healthcare professional of your choice regarding all matters concerning your health, including before beginning any exercise, weight loss, or healthcare program. If you have or suspect you may have a healthcare emergency, please contact a qualified healthcare professional for treatment. Any information or opinions provided by a guest expert or host featured within website or on company's podcast are their own, not those of Maria Menounos or the company. Accordingly, Maria Menounos and the company cannot be responsible for any results or consequences or actions you may take based on information or opinions.